He who masters his sexuality masters his life. Nikola Tesla. Before we begin, here's a small ritual. Write in the comments one word that accurately describes your current state. Sign it, and let's get started. My name is Nikola Tesla. I didn't chase women. I didn't chase comfort. I didn't chase noise. I chased lightning. The world thought I was strange, silent, distant, obsessive. But I knew something they didn't. I had a secret. The secret was energy. Not just the kind that spins turbines, but the one that spins you. Most men waste it without thinking. They let it slip away in moments of pleasure, moments they forget before they even stand up. And then they ask why they feel weak, unmotivated, uninspired. I never did. Not because I was better than them, but because I understood what that energy really was. Every time that fire rose inside me, I didn't pour it out. I held it. I turned it into vision. I saw machines before they existed. I walked through ideas in my mind before I touched a single tool. That was my real invention. Not the machine, but the ability to hold the charge. This is not some mystical belief. This is physics. Every man is a coil. You either discharge or you build a field. Most men discharge. I built a field. I made myself a living generator. And when that energy stayed in me, everything sharpened. My thoughts, my senses, my instincts. People think focus comes from motivation. It doesn't. It comes from holding energy inside without wasting it. It comes from tension, not release. I practiced this daily. In the morning, I would sit alone. I'd close my eyes and construct what I wanted to create, down to the tiniest detail. The moment lust or impulse came, I didn't run from it. I used it. I breathed into it, focused it like a beam. I imagined wires tightening, magnets spinning, switches clicking into place, and the desire transformed. It became electricity. If you want proof, try it. Try 1 week without giving in. 1 week of sitting with that fire instead of escaping it. 1 week of directing it into work, into breath, into vision. You'll notice something start to change. Your eyes will sharpen. Your skin will come alive. Your thoughts will line up like metal filings on a magnet. And slowly, you'll remember what you are. You are not here to be drained. You are here to conduct. You are here to charge the world with the force you hold inside. I did not touch the world with my body. I touched it with my voltage, and I left behind light. My name is Steve Jobs. People always saw the result, the keynote, the black turtleneck, the product launch. But they didn't see the real work. The real work wasn't in the machine. It was in the stillness before the machine, in the discipline, in the restraint. Everyone wants to create something that changes the world, but almost no one is willing to silence the noise inside them long enough to hear the idea that matters. I didn't have superpowers. What I had was focus, and that focus came from holding back, from saying no to distractions, to impulses, to quick fixes, especially the ones that feel good in the moment and leave you emptier after. The more I resisted, the more I saw clearly, not just what to do, but what not to do. The most powerful energy in the world is sexual. Everyone feels it, but not everyone learns how to use it. Most people treat it like a craving they're supposed to satisfy. I treated it like rocket fuel. If I held it, everything else sharpened. My voice, my timing, my sense of what would move people. That energy, when not spilled, becomes a fire under everything you do. And when it moves through your system, it clears out the fog. When I built the first Macintosh, I was in a period of extreme restraint. My personal life was pared down to the minimum. No noise, no excess. I knew that the more I simplified myself, the deeper I could reach. I had a morning ritual. I sat in complete silence. I didn't react to anything. I just breathed. And when thoughts came, I let them pass like clouds. The tension I felt, the hunger, the desire, I didn't escape it. I contained it. And then I used it. This isn't about morality, it's about power. When you start to pull back from your impulses, especially the sexual ones, you realize something terrifying and beautiful. You were never out of control. You just never tested your own brakes. And once you do, once you feel that grip, you start to understand what it means to direct your life. Every time I said no to a distraction, I said yes to the vision. Every time I didn't reach for comfort, I stepped deeper into clarity. And the truth is, most people don't fail because they don't try. They fail because they leak. Tiny leaks every day. Attention, energy, will. You don't need more energy. You need less escape. What you're looking for isn't out there. It's in the silence you've been avoiding. That's where it starts. That's where the storm ends. My name is Bruce Lee. People called me fast, precise, explosive. They saw the speed of my strikes, the elegance of my movement, but they never saw the war behind the eyes. They didn't see the hours of stillness, the fire I carried in my gut, the fire I never let spill. Everyone wants to be powerful. Few understand that real power comes from control, not from force, but from inner tension. From holding the sword and not swinging it. From having the fire and not letting it consume you. I was not born disciplined. I became disciplined. I trained my mind like I trained my fists, relentlessly, without shortcuts. And at the center of that training was one thing: restraint. Especially with my energy, especially with my desire. The body always wants to express. The mind always wants to chase. The undisciplined man follows. The disciplined man redirects. I practiced that redirection every single day. When the heat rose in my body, I didn't run to release it. I stood inside it. I let it boil. Not to suffer, but to shape it. That raw energy, the sexual energy, is the most explosive force a man has. If you can hold it, you can turn it into anything. Clarity, movement, strength, vision. Most men spill it and then wonder why they feel empty. I didn't spill it. I forged it. My morning started not with movement, but with stillness. I stood like a mountain, legs rooted, breath slow, spine straight. And I waited until the noise inside went quiet, until the body obeyed the mind, not the other way around. That was my foundation. That was the moment I became dangerous. Not when I struck, but when I didn't need to. Power is not visible. People think it's muscles, dominance, noise. That's not power. That's decoration. Real power is invisible. It's the presence of a man who has mastered himself. When I entered a room, I didn't speak, but people felt something. That something was inner fire, concentrated and untouchable. You can't fake it. You either hold the fire or you don't. When I was preparing for films or fights, I abstained completely. Not out of shame, but out of purpose. Because every drop I didn't waste became movement. Every urge I didn't follow became awareness. And when it was time to explode, I didn't have to try. It was already there, coiled, waiting. Here's what I tell every man. Start with one morning. Stand still. No movement, no phone, no pleasure, just your breath and your mind. Let the urge come and do nothing. That moment is where it begins. That's your furnace. That's where you're made. And if you can do that, not once, but every day, you'll begin to notice the shift. People around you will feel something different, not because you said anything, but because you're finally holding the fire instead of spilling it. Control doesn't limit you. It reveals you, the real you, the you that can't be moved by impulse, can't be manipulated by desire, the you that walks into the world not to take, but to create. That's what it means to hold the fire without burning. My name is Friedrich Nietzsche. I did not live a balanced life. I was not built for comfort or peace. I lived at the edge of pain, solitude, obsession. But there, at that edge, I discovered something most men never touch: the raw force that lies beneath pleasure, beneath distraction, beneath the constant leaking of life through cheap urges. I understood suffering not as punishment, but as fuel, not because I liked it, but because I saw what it revealed. When a man stops chasing the softness of relief and stands inside his own tension, something ancient awakens in him. Most people numb themselves with noise, with flesh, with escape. I stripped all that away, and what remained was silence. Dark, honest, full of pressure, but also full of power. I never married. I never wasted my vitality in casual comfort. I gave my energy to thought, to writing, to building worlds from language. I felt the storms rise in my blood, the fire of longing, the pull of the body, but I never let it master me. I turned it into words, into pages, into truths sharp enough to wound. My books were not written with ink. They were written with held-back storms, that same force that could have been spent in a moment of release. I held it, shaped it, and let it strike as philosophy. You don't need to believe me. You can feel it yourself. Next time desire grips you, don't obey. Sit inside it. Don't run. Let it build. Then write, create, move with intent. That's not suppression. That's transformation. You are not here to indulge. You are here to become. Mastery is not found in the man who reacts. It's found in the one who restrains. Not because he is afraid, but because he is aiming higher. When you begin to harness that primal energy, you notice something. Your thoughts gain weight. Your voice deepens. People around you feel it, even if they don't know what changed. That's the vibration of a man who no longer leaks, a man who builds pressure, like a volcano waiting in silence. That's where power lives, not in volume, but in tension, not in release, but in control. I found that the more I suffered, the more I saw, not because pain is holy, but because it burns away the unnecessary. Desire, when held, becomes direction. Hunger, when focused, becomes genius. And a man, when empty of distraction, becomes unshakable. So here is what I offer. Do not chase pleasure. Observe it. Stand above it. Feel it pulling. And smile. Because in that moment, you are not a slave. You are becoming a force. Write down what you feel. Mold it. Turn it into something the world will remember. That's where truth begins, not in comfort, but in the fire you choose to hold. And if you hold it long enough, the world will begin to bend around you, not because you asked, but because you became something it could not ignore. My name is Paramahansa Yogananda. In the West, people associate spiritual strength with rituals, with symbols, with words. But true strength begins in the quiet places within, where energy is not wasted, not scattered, but drawn upward, from the base of the spine to the center of the soul. This energy, which many treat as something shameful or indulgent, is in truth the sacred fire of creation. It is not meant to be expelled for pleasure. It is meant to be raised for power. Most men live outward. They follow sensation. They chase the body. But I lived inward. I followed stillness. I chased the divine. And the bridge between the two was mastery over life force, what some call sexual energy, and what I knew as prana. This energy is subtle. You can't grab it with your hands, but you can feel it. It rises when you are near beauty, when desire stirs in the body. That is the moment of choice. Most surrender to it and fall. I chose to breathe with it and rise. I practiced Kriya Yoga, not just as a technique, but as a sacred path. Through specific breathing, I could feel the energy travel through my spine, through my heart, through my mind, purifying, sharpening, awakening. When you conserve this inner fire, it begins to climb. And as it climbs, your awareness expands, your thinking clears, your spirit steadies. That same energy that makes a man restless can make him radiant if he learns not to lose it, but to lift it. There were nights when I sat alone for hours, unmoving, not asleep, not distracted, simply aware. I could feel the current rising inside me like warm light. My body pulsed with calm intensity. I became the observer of my own desire, not its slave. And slowly, the hunger that once pulled me outward began pulling me upward. That is the real ascent, not the rejection of the body, but its elevation. If you want to feel this shift, begin small. Sit alone, close your eyes, breathe deeply. Feel where the urge lives in your body. Instead of acting on it, breathe through it. Inhale slowly, exhale slower. Each breath is a thread that lifts you. Let the energy rise through your spine as you hold your focus at the point between your eyebrows. That point is not just symbolic. It is the seat of will, the gate of clarity. And if you practice this daily, even for a few minutes, you will begin to notice a new presence inside you. Not just calm, but vibrant, powerful, alive. The world pulls your attention downward. It wants you to forget your essence. It wants you to waste your fire on illusions. But when you resist that pull, when you choose stillness over stimulation, awareness over reaction, you become more than a man. You become a channel of something greater. And in that state, you do not seek validation. You do not hunger for touch, because you are the source of heat. You glow from within. This is not suppression. It is sacred redirection. You are not here to burn out. You are here to become light. My name is David Blaine. People see the stunts, the blocks of ice, the needles through flesh, the buried coffin. They call it magic, illusion, madness, but they don't see the real trick. The real trick is control, not over the body, over the mind, over the energy inside me that wants to break free, scream, escape. I trained that energy like a wild animal. I didn't destroy it. I didn't ignore it. I sat with it until it obeyed. That's the secret behind everything I've done. It's not about pain tolerance or shock value. It's about focus. And you can't fake focus. You either own your energy or it owns you. Most people have no idea how much they're leaking every single day. Leaking through distraction, through impulse, through tiny moments of unconscious surrender. You want to do something impossible. First, stop wasting the possible. Every time I prepared for an endurance feat, I entered into a space of extreme discipline. No sex, no stimulation, no release. Not because I was punishing myself, but because I was preparing myself. Preparing to hold pressure. Preparing to withstand chaos. Preparing to stand completely still while the world screamed around me. That kind of stillness comes at a price. You have to stop feeding your lower appetites. The urge to feel good, to escape tension, to chase relief, all of it has to go. And when it goes, what's left is pure current. That current becomes your edge. That's what people feel when they watch me. It's not the trick, it's the charge. And that charge only comes from inner compression, from holding energy until it starts vibrating at a different frequency. Here's the truth. The body is simple. It wants rhythm, comfort, repetition. The mind is lazy. It follows the path of least resistance. But the will is different. The will is a blade. You either sharpen it or let it rust. I sharpen mine through abstinence, fasting, silence, and stillness. Every morning, I practiced holding my breath, not just physically, but metaphorically, holding my reactions, holding my cravings, not responding, not flinching. And each time I did, my inner voltage increased. I became calmer, yes, but also more intense, more aware, more locked in. When I walked into a room, people could feel it. Not because I tried to impress, but because there was zero leakage. All my attention, all my energy was here, now, unbroken. You don't need to be a magician to master focus. You need to start noticing where you're losing it. Every time you indulge an impulse, every time you follow a fleeting urge, you're pouring your energy into nothing. Reverse it. Hold it. Watch what happens. You'll feel a pressure build. It might be uncomfortable at first, but if you stay with it, that pressure becomes power. And power changes everything. The way you speak, the way you look, the way you move through the world. This isn't about tricks. This is about presence. Presence that can't be bought, taught, or faked. Only earned. Through self-control, through focus, through the magic of not escaping. This is where it all comes together. 10 voices, 10 lives, 10 different paths, science, art, war, discipline, spirit, creation. But beneath all of them, one invisible thread, restraint. Each of these men discovered that their greatest breakthroughs, their sharpest insights, their deepest presence, came not from what they indulged in, but from what they held back. They didn't become great by chance. They became great because they understood energy, and they protected it. They chose not to spill it into quick comfort. They chose to direct it, contain it, and use it to shape something lasting. That's what this is really about. Not morality, not shame, not guilt, but power. Real, raw, focused power. The kind you don't find in motivation videos or in dopamine highs. The kind you earn through inner fire held in silence. Sexual energy is not the problem. It's not something dirty or wrong. It's sacred. It's life force. It's the very engine of your vitality, your creativity, your drive. But like any form of energy, it can either build or burn. If you release it constantly without awareness, without purpose, you weaken your structure. You drain your edge. You flatten your signal. You might feel relief in the moment, but you lose your voltage. On the other hand, when you learn to hold that energy, when you stop reacting to every impulse, something starts to shift. Your voice becomes deeper. Your focus sharpens. Your physical presence strengthens. Your sense of direction intensifies. That energy doesn't just sit there. It transforms. It climbs. It fuels everything you do. Your work, your vision, your relationships, your leadership. You walk into a room and people feel it, even if they don't know what it is. So let's be honest. Let's put the choice in your hands. Here's what you get when you practice sexual restraint with intention. Not repression, but redirection. What you gain: laser-sharp focus, less distraction, more clarity in thinking, higher energy levels, your body stops leaking power. Greater self-respect, you trust your own discipline. Creative expansion, you unlock ideas instead of just chasing sensation. Magnetic presence, people feel your inner strength without you saying a word. Spiritual clarity, deeper awareness, stronger intuition. Emotional stability, less mood swings, more grounded action. Better physical control, improved endurance, posture, breath, and calm. Faster decision-making, instincts become precise. What you sacrifice: temporary relief, the quick high of release. Numb comfort, the false escape from stress. Instant gratification, the addiction to now. Distraction, the loop of cravings that never end. Weakness, the subtle loss of control every time you give in without reason. No one is forcing you to change, but now you know. You've heard it from those who built light, broke limits, transformed history. They didn't just have talent, they had command over themselves. And you can too. This isn't about perfection, it's about direction. You can fall and still rise. But every time you choose to hold your energy instead of leaking it, you're telling your body, your mind, your soul, I am the one in charge. And when that becomes your default, the world changes around you. You stop following. You start creating. You stop chasing. You start leading. The flame doesn't burn you anymore. It lights your way. The rest is up to you. We're sure you've discovered plenty of value, so subscribe now and stay connected.